Welcome to the San Diego Community College Football Report. I'm Ramon Scott and I'm joined by Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. Dave, we got 3 games this week and 2 of our San Diego County teams are going to match up this weekend. Saturday, it's going to be the Palomar Comets at Douglas Field taking on San Diego Mesa Olympians. After Fullerton officially forfeited its 2017 and 2018 wins on Sunday night, the Palomar Comets still have a chance to qualify for the 4-team Southern California playoffs that'll determine the Southern California champion and a spot in the state championship game in Sacramento against the Northern California champion. Dave, Comets got good news following their big upset win last week, and now they're going to take on Mesa. Nothing's for certain. I'll cover that in just a moment. This is going to be a tough game, but the doors are now open for the Comets.
Yeah, I think this is going to give them more fuel for the fire, definitely. I'm sure Coach Joe Early was definitely up late night, maybe even making adjustments and making sure that they get that W against Mesa College, because I think that's going to be huge as well. They win that game, and then of course the news that you just mentioned, they got to be real happy about their season.
The champions of the Northern League, Central League, and Southern League all receive automatic bids, of course. The first 3 seeds in order of power rankings and a 4th seed to be determined from the 3 National Division second-place finishers. Palomar is now 6-3 on the season, but 3-1 in the Central League and enters the weekend with the best power ranking. Palomar ends the season with Mesa 5-4, 1-3 in the Central League. They got the win over Fullerton as their league victory now. Dave, if Palomar beats Mesa and Cerritos defeats El Camino, Palomar will become the champion of the Central League and will receive one of the 3 automatic Southern California berths. I will mention Cerritos is probably expected to win at home against El Camino, but it's no certainty. It's going to be a 3, 4, 5, 6-point game. It's going to be close down there. If Palomar does not qualify for the playoffs, it'll still go to a bowl game, but here's the opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that Palomar is they fought really hard against all the adversity this season of the injury bug. I think that they took at key positions early, as a matter of fact. Some early losses to Southwestern, a close game with Grossmont College, but they eked out those key games, and there was a lot of surprising games that they won, at least 2 or 3 games this year that they really surprised all of us, and especially with the people they have on the field and the way they've been able to put a cast together, and they just keep winning. I think a lot of that needs to be handed over to head coach Joe Early for putting all this together and keeping those guys energized and ready to get that bowl bid.
Well, you talk about big wins. You need to look no further than last week's upset over Cerritos last Saturday and Connor Curry. He was the Southern California Offensive Player of the Week as he accounted for 6 touchdowns, including 5 of them through the air in the upset over the Falcons. Now, the best Mesa can do to receive a bowl bid, they'll need an upset victory over the Comets. The game with the Comets is closely rated. There's no doubt about it. The Olympians stand definitely more than a fighting chance. Mesa dropped a 4-overtime thriller last Saturday night at Douglas Stadium. Reggie Prince blocked a punt early, and Anthony Barksdale ran it in for a score. Justin Kaplan kicked a pair of field goals in regulation. DJ Smith caught a touchdown pass late. Then Tyler Tutt and Isaiah Williams had touchdowns in overtime. This one's close. I've got the Comets by a field goal.
Yeah, I think that Mesa's played an awful lot of close games that they were leading and then switching leads, and they would go down 7, they would come back and score another 7. They had, excuse me, one with Golden West that they played pretty well, who we will talk about soon against Grossmont, but they've been on the cusp of so many wins this season, and as Coach Gary Watkins states all the time, he said, one thing about this group is they fight till the end. They've been playing hard, but I think what's been happening is those penalties and turnovers. It's not even just penalties; it's the untimely penalties and also the turnovers that you really don't want at that point of the game. And I think that's been their Achilles heel. But at the same time, I do think that the offense has been one of their better components as of late.
Nicolosi's is San Diego's most authentic Italian restaurant. For more than 60 years, they have been serving up fresh and authentic recipes passed on from generation to generation. Nicolosi's offers Italian food catering, wedding catering, special event catering, large business takeout orders, office takeout orders, school restaurant fundraiser nights, and birthday parties and private holiday party reservations. Come on out and see Ron and Barb at Nicolosi's. Going to an event at the sports arena? Well, come on by and say hi to the Nicolosi's team at the sports arena. We are now serving some of our favorites during goals, games, and other events. Visit them today for the best Italian food in town. Mangia!
The Grossmont Griffins will close out their quote-unquote home schedule at Grossmont High, hosting the Golden West Rustlers on Saturday. Dave, Grossmont played well against a tough Saddleback team. Former Steel Canyon star Kyrie Woods had a strip sack and fumble recovery to tie the game at 14-all. And at that point of the game, Dave, I was watching it on a webcast. The Grossmont sideline looked as energized as they had all season. It may have been the high point of the season, but the Gauchos regrouped and they'll head to their showdown with Riverside in the big undefeated matchup after a 45-30 win over the Griffins. Jarius Burnett, he had a pair of scores, and Fabius Shipman's touchdown run with nearly 5 minutes gone in the fourth quarter brought Grossmont to within 35-30, and the offensive line was looking great. Bryson Collins had 9 tackles, including a sack and 2 pass breakups on defense. It was a good performance for Grossmont despite the defeat.
Yeah, and that I had a short conversation with Jay Williams on the way back on the bus, and he was very impressed with the performance. And as you mentioned, the offensive line, he felt that they were really creating some great holes and holding that line and pulling the way they're supposed to. And honestly, I think he is one of the better offensive linemen in the league. And we all know as of late how many offers he has. I mean, he's got just about every college in the nation calling him up, the last one being Indiana, and a solid offer at that. And I don't blame any team for not wanting this kid. You watch him play, he's a big kid, he's physical, he's great on his feet, he's great on keeping that block up without the defender twisting him around. I mean, he's just been fantastic, and he's never causing any penalty issues. He knows the game plan, and he goes with the game plan. Jarius Barnett, I think, is also an underrated running back. I just think that if they were healthy from the beginning of the season, I even saw starter Josh Harris a couple of weeks ago on the Grossmont field. Another one, boy, I tell you what, if this was a healthy Grossmont team and they're coming this close, there's several games, at least a handful, that they have been in. And I believe they even missed a chip shot field goal that could have helped them out a lot too, where Ethan Albertson's been lights out, but at this time, unfortunately, they came on the short end against Saddleback, but that would have been a huge win.
Well, it's going to be a great opportunity for an upset against the Golden West team last week that upset Southwestern at DeVore Stadium 24-20. So they're going to come back to San Diego expecting a victory in that game against Southwestern. Dave, a pair of guys that Ed Carberry tried to get to come to Southwestern ended up doing the damage for the Rustlers. Quarterback Bo Kalbacher and receiver Ben Ratzliff, they connected 4 times, including once for a touchdown to Ratzliff, the former Westview High receiving star. So I've got the Rustlers coming down and beating Grossmont by a couple of scores.
Yeah, after seeing Golden West, this will be the 3rd time I've seen them. They're a very good football team, but I'd like Rosemont to get the upset, but I'm going to definitely say they will play tight. But I'm going to say I'm going to give Rosemont the benefit of the doubt and say Golden West by 10.
And the Jaguars are going to travel to Orange Coast for their season finale. Despite the last-minute loss to the Rustlers, Southwestern 6-3 after the forfeit win over Fullerton now. The Jaguars are bowl eligible as they square off with the last-place Pirates in Costa Mesa. Dave, it was Jonathan Earl's critical catch in the corner of the end zone that stunned Southwestern last Saturday. DeAndre Daniels had scored just moments earlier with a minute and a half left in the game to give the Jaguars the lead, but an incredible catch in one-on-one coverage, a 50-50 ball, and it really stunned Southwestern that moment, and they couldn't recover. They couldn't get a last drive together, resulted in an interception.
Yeah, and I think it's not been given a lot of credit, and I don't even think a lot of the fans noticed it for quite a while. And this was in the first half, is that they went from Diamante Morris to the old Marcus Hernandez behind center, and I'll tell you what, every time I've seen that kid come in, I'm not going to say he doesn't make any mistakes, but he definitely knows how to run that offense, and he's always ready to go. He keeps his composure. He's very poised at the position, and he's hitting his targets. And I asked Coach Carberry what was the reasoning behind that, and he said, Diamante just wasn't hitting his spots, and when you can't hit 60 feet in front of you, that's just one of those things that it's happening more than once, and those are very catchable balls, and you need those for those key first downs, especially against a team like Golden West. So he said his best opportunity, he called on Marcus Hernandez, and he went on, and I think he had a pretty good game considering they did lose. But he did a very good job, and I will definitely assume that he's going to start against Orange Coast.
Well, Hernandez had over 170 yards passing, and he did throw a touchdown to Peyton Hazuga, who obviously has had a great season. The Jaguars' defense had picks from Angelo Trujillo, Devin Washington, and Logan Darby. Orange Coast plays Riverside last week, losing 58-0, and they're 1-8 on the season. I've got the Jaguars by 4 touchdowns.
I definitely concur. 4 or 5 touchdowns, maybe 6. So this is one of those that the Jaguars can just tune up before the postseason.
All right, and we'll get out of here. That's probably going to do it for us on the Community College Football Report for this season. Just a quick update on the postseason for some of the other teams. Riverside and Saddleback, they meet on Saturday. Both are undefeated in the league after their forfeit wins to Fullerton. The RCC Saddleback winner will receive the Southern League's automatic playoff berth, and the loser will be the only team in the league with a chance to receive the number 4 seeding.